Sports presentation.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, KCAL 9 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Chicago Cubs. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Cubs in their final meeting of the year. Dodgers have won 3 of 5, not only trying to win the season series today, but they're also trying to sweep the Cubs for the first time in Dodger Stadium since 1998. Trying to prevent that and snap a 4-game losing streak for the Cubs, they'll send a local boy to the mound, Justin Germano. Germano was born in Pasadena, lives in Claremont. He's a much-traveled right-hander. He's pitched for 6 different major league teams. He also pitched in Korea and Japan. He has a record of 1-1, and over his career, he is 0-4 lifetime against the Dodgers. As far as the Dodgers are concerned, it'll be right-hander Joe Blanton, the newest member of the club. Joe comes here from Philadelphia with a record of 8-9. He beat the Dodgers last time he pitched here, and Blanton trying to get off on the right foot with his new ball club as the Dodgers try to wrap up against the Cubs. We'll also keep an eye on the Giants there in Colorado. And coming up, what we hope will be an exciting ball game right after this. To you by Jack in the Box, where the entire menu is available all day long, and by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Welcome back to Dodger Stadium as we await the start of the third and final game of the Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. Upcoming will be the Colorado Rockies. Tomorrow night it'll be Chris Capuano going up against Drew Pomeranz. The Rockies will be here tomorrow night, then Tuesday and Wednesday. Dodgers then go out on a very important road trip that begins in Miami, then goes 4 games in Pittsburgh, 3 in Atlanta, before coming home to play, of all teams, the San Francisco Giants. So with that in mind, pull up a chair. We're close, and we'll be back with the ball game right after this. By Carl's Jr. $6 burgers, made with 100% Black Angus beef. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers home with the Chicago Cubs. It'll be their final meeting of the year. Dodgers have won 3 of the 5, and it's a gorgeous, hot summer's afternoon. Pretty well for both ball clubs as we await the start of this final game. We mentioned earlier that the Giants are still in Colorado, and we'll be watching reports. We know that the Giants got out in front right at the outset. Rockies came back with 1. That's Tim Lincecum pitching that game for San Francisco, and the Giants leading the Rockies 2-1 in the 3rd inning. As far as the visiting Chicago Cubs are concerned, they brought a 4-game losing streak to the table today. They're also trying to avoid being swept at Dodger Stadium, and it comes somewhat as a shock to realize the Cubs, who have not been as good a team as the Dodgers over the years, let's face it, but the Dodgers have been unable to sweep them here since 1998. The Dodgers are 10 games above 500, and Joe Blanton on his way to the mound to make his debut as a Dodger. For the Cubs, they're okay at home. They're really struggling on the road. They are 22 games under 500. So Joe Blanton, the big boy, born in Nashville, lives in Brownsville, Kentucky, and he'll be going to work against this lineup for the Cubs. David DeJesus leading off in right field, followed by newcomer Brett Jackson, just called up, and he'll be starting in center field. Anthony Rizzo at first base. Following Rizzo is Alfonso Soriano. Then you have Starlin Castro at short. Wellington Castillo behind the plate. Luis Valbuena at third. Darwin Barney, who has been hitting in the number 2 slot, has dropped down to number 8. He's at second base. And the pitcher, Justin Germano. Few notes about Joe Blanton. First of all, he's big, 6'3", 250 pounds. Really lives in Kentucky, raised there, although born in Nashville. And his town, Brownsville, Kentucky. He went from there, where he was Mr. Baseball out of high school. He went on to the University of Kentucky, and he is hoping that there'll be a repeat of something. A few years ago, in 2008, he was with the Oakland Athletics, and he was traded to the Phillies, and the Phillies went on deep into postseason. Well, now he's been traded from the Phillies to the Dodgers, and he's hoping that history will repeat itself. A couple of things about Joe. If people get on base, they do run on him. 77% of success, and he'll be tested first of all by David DeJesus. DeJesus opened the series in center field, and he's playing right field today. Hitting .261, 2 home runs, 27 runs batted in. DeJesus, second in the league, getting on base as a leadoff man, and he has a look at a strike, and the count 0-1. Leading off in the first game, he had, among other things, a 10-pitch at bat and drew a walk. So 0-1 the count to David DeJesus. Blanton comes right back with a fastball just low. One of the things the Dodgers learned about Blanton, great control. When he beat them here in July, he went 8 innings, struck out 7, did not walk anybody, and allowed 2 runs. 1-1 pitch on the way. DeJesus swings and misses, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. For Joe Blanton, working on DeJesus, basically fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. He is a maximum effort pitcher. His head jerks a bit when he finally releases, and he comes a little low, and the count 2-2. Naturally, and certainly playing in Philadelphia, if you are a control pitcher, if you're throwing strike after strike, you will be victimized by the home run ball. Though he has allowed 22 home runs this year. DeJesus takes a little low, ball 3, 3-2 the count. DeJesus doing what he did the other night, getting deep in the count. He did that with Chad Billingsley. That's why he's the number 2 leadoff man. Hitting back of him is Brett Jackson, the newcomer. 3-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away. So David DeJesus trying to work Blanton just as he did the other night. David is an outfielder, and about 11-12 years ago, just before he was drafted out of Rutgers University, he had Tommy John surgery. So David waiting. He was born in Brooklyn. The 3-2 pitch is taken just off the plate. Ball 4. So DeJesus shows you why he is a good leadoff man as he draws the walk. And the batter now is the newcomer Brett Jackson. There was a report before the series started that the Cubs were trying to make up their mind. Do we bring up Jackson or don't we? Remember, Thursday was an open date. And they didn't bring him up Friday, and then late yesterday they decided to bring him up. He is a California boy. He was born in Berkeley. Takes a look at a strike. 0-1. He lives in Orinda, which is about just over the hills from Berkeley. And as you might imagine, he went to the University of California in Berkeley, and the Cubs made him a first-round pick only 3 years ago. The left-hand hitter rolls one to Loney on the bag. That means a tag at second, and it's too late. That same play cost the Dodgers a run last night. As soon as Loney steps on first base, it is no longer a force at second. And the throw down there has to be a tag by Hanley Ramirez, and he couldn't do it in time. So DeJesus able to slide in. Last night on that same play, eventually the Cubs got a run. It was followed by a double by Alfonso Soriano. Dale Swam out there to talk to the plate umpire for a moment. So Brett Jackson grounds to first. Taking second is DeJesus. Here's Anthony Rizzo, and he'll be followed by Alfonso Soriano. Rizzo hitting .304, 8 home runs, 20 runs batted in, takes a strike. It's interesting when you look at the various hitters how different they are. So many of them have a death grip on the bat, and then you see somebody like Anthony Rizzo who looks like he might almost drop the bat before he's ready. He swings, hits it into right center, base hit. Around third, coming to score is DeJesus. So the same play that cost the Dodgers a run last night cost them a run today, as Rizzo singles and DeJesus carries in the run. 1-0 in favor of Chicago. It did not hold up last night. Last night the Cubs scored first in the top of the 4th inning, but the Dodgers came back with 2. The Cub record since the middle of June coming into this series, if they scored first, their record was 18-3. So now it's 18-4, and we'll see what happens today. Here's Soriano. He hits a pop fly. Going back is Mark Ellis to make the catch. Throws over to first. I don't know what Rizzo was thinking about, and it's an easy double play. Anthony Rizzo apparently forgot how many outs there were. However, he did get a base hit to drive in a run, and at the end of half an inning, Cubs won, Dodgers coming up. Was talking about and to James Loney, that play where Loney fields the ground ball. Instead of going to get the front man, James steps on the bag, then throws down to second, which now makes it a tag play instead of a force. 2 nights and 1 night, and today it's happened, and it's cost the Dodgers a run each time. Here's the Dodger lineup. Shane Victorino opens up in left, and Mark Ellis at second. Matt Kemp hitting third and center. Andre Ethier hitting cleanup in right. Hanley Ramirez at short. James Loney at first. Luis Cruz, the third baseman. A.J. Ellis, the catcher, and Joe Blanton, the pitcher. On the mound, Justin Germano, local boy, comes home. He was born in Pasadena, lives in Claremont. Has been with 6 different major league teams. He's also pitched in Japan. He's pitched in Korea. Justin ready to deliver, and Victorino takes high, ball 1. Shane Victorino checking in at .258, 9 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Germano comes right back with a change on the outside corner for a strike, and that balances things. 1 ball and 1 strike. Justin Germano, 6'3", 205-pounder, has a birthday tomorrow. The 1-1 pitch is waved at and missed, 1-2. Germano will be 26 tomorrow. In looking at his work, he has actually been better in relief than starting. But he's out there on the mound starting this one, working from the first base side of the rubber. And Victorino slaps a little soft fly ball, that's all it was, to the shortstop. Castro, one away. Couldn't call it a line drive. Looked more like a volley in tennis. So one down here in the first inning, and the batter will be Mark Ellis. And looking at Germano, right-hand hitters have done very well against him throughout his career. They're hitting about 285. And the top two hitters in the lineups have been giving him a bad time. Well, he's gotten Victorino, and he gets a strike on Ellis. We can tell you the Diamondbacks and the Phillies are 4-4 in the ninth. That was a game where Cliff Lee started against Trevor Cahill. Lee's gone. The pitch is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jonathan Papelbon is now pitching for Philadelphia. 1-1 the count to Mark Ellis. On deck, Matt Kemp. Germano holds the ball below the belt, just turns on the rubber and deals, and slips that one a little low. 2-1 the count. Dale Scott is the plate umpire, charged with responsibility of balls and strikes. Dale in his 27th year as a big league umpire. Lives both in Oregon and in Palm Springs. 2-1 the count. The next one to Mark swung on and fouled back, and the count 2 balls 2 strikes. One to nothing in favor of the Cubs. A walk to D. Jesus. The Dodgers go for the out at first instead of the force on the front runner, and it cost them 2 games in a row. They were able to survive it last night and win a squeaker 3-1. 2-2 pitch on the way is swung on, lifted to second base. That's where Darwin Barney hangs out and makes the catch. Barney, coming into this game, has a streak. He has played 91 consecutive errorless games. That means he has passed Ryne Sandberg, the National League record for a string of errorless games by a second baseman. David Eckstein, when he was playing for San Diego. Major League record in the American League, Placido Polanco, when he played over there, had a string of 141 games without an error, believe it or not. So 2 down on a couple of pop flies. And here is Matt Kemp. Germano's slow breaking ball fouled at the plate, and the count 0-1. So Justin Germano throwing a lot of soft stuff, and he's gotten 2 pop flies. As we said, he's fastball, curveball, and a straight change. His best pitch is that slow curve. Justin's been a pro for 13 years. The strike 1 pitch is waved at and missed. Again, another off-speed pitch. They have overloaded the left side. Barney has crossed. Darwin is now technically on the shortstop side of the bag. And a no-ball 2-strike count to Matt Kemp. Germano turns, ready. Justin back, high and tight. That got a little chin music, and a 1-2 count to Matt Kemp. By the way, the Giants are leading the Rockies 2-1, and they're now in the 4th inning. That's a Tim Lincecum game, and bears close watching for sure. 1-0 Cubs, bottom of the first inning, 2 out. Matt waiting, and the 1-2 pitch on the way is swung on and missed, and down he goes. That was quite an impressive inning for Germano. Looked like you could catch him barehanded, and he gets 2 pop flies and a strikeout, and at the end of an inning, 1-0 Cubs. Go second inning. Starlin Castro, Wellington Castillo, and then Luis Valbuena. And the big right-hander, Joe Blanton, will ask for a different ball, so timeout for the moment. When Mike Quade, before he became the manager, he has since left the Cubs, but before he was the manager of Chicago, he managed in Double-A at Huntsville. Castro, first ball swinging, lifts a fly ball to Ethier, though one away. Anyway, Quade had a young shortstop in Huntsville in 1997 named Miguel Tejada, and he was so impressed. And then when Quade became the manager of the Cubs, he had Starlin Castro. Castro, who has just popped out at 22, has been an all-star twice. So here now is Wellington Castillo, the catcher, hitting .220. He has 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Blanton over the top, snaps a fastball for a strike. Castillo tried to hold up and couldn't do it. Wellington was recalled by the Cubs from Iowa just Tuesday and broke in against Pittsburgh. His first game, he hit a home run. Takes a pitch down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year, Wellington Castillo was the Pacific Coast All-Star. Right-hand batter has a look at a pitch low and a 2-1 count. So the Cubs trying to avoid that rather historic moment. Remember, the Dodgers, last time they swept them was 1998. Castillo swings, doesn't get it, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Cubs are in the process of playing a lot of youngsters, trying to rebuild, trying to figure out exactly what they can do. Right now, they're 22 games back of Cincinnati, and there's a drive into right center for a base hit. Kemp over to pick it up, turns, guns it back into Ellis. So it's a 1-out single for Castillo, and that will bring up Luis Valbuena. Hit number 2 of Joe Blanton. Cubs leading 1-0. So we'll see if there is a ground ball to Loney, whether he steps on the bag as he has done 2 games in a row and it's cost a run, or will he go to second to get the force and then try for the double play. And we mentioned that Don Mattingly was talking to him in the dugout, and I'm sure that's what they were talking about. Mattingly, of course, played a lot of first base. The pitch is fouled away off to the left out of play. Valbuena, struggling, is hitting less than 200. He's made 39 starts at third base. He's been in 40 games, and he has picked up 19 RBIs and 3 home runs. Played with Cleveland and Seattle. Never hit much. Valbuena, left-hand batter, swings, doesn't get the next one, and the count 0-2. Luis Valbuena. He's from Venezuela. He'll be 27 the end of November. 0-2 the count. He swings, pops it up, and it'll be way back into the crowd, and the count holds 0-2. One thing Valbuena did, although he was 0-1 last night, he was on base twice, because in the process of walking in the 3rd inning and walking in the 5th inning, those were 17 pitches, and then in his last time up he struck out. So he saw a lot of pitches last night, and he is now with a count of 1-2. On deck, Darwin Barney. Barney was 1 for 4 last night and 1 for 3 in the first game. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Valbuena. 1-0 Cubs. We're in the 2nd inning. Right hand to Blanton, ready, delivers, ground foul outside of first. Dave McKay, nice bit of fancy footwork, jumping over that. Dave coaching at first, Pat Listash over at third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blanton, a long look in to A.J. Ellis. Now Joe is ready. 1-2 pitch on the way, fouled off. When Blanton was playing with Nick Swisher back in the days with the Oakland A's, and somebody asked Swisher, how big do you think Brownsville, Kentucky is? Swisher said, as soon as you see the sign for his hometown, your cell phone goes out. That's a small town. The 1-2 pitch is low and inside, ball 2, 2-2. Actually, the A's got Joe Blanton. They received with a pick from the Yankees for losing Jason Giambi as a free agent. Now a member of the Dodgers. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on, fouled away again. So it's typical of Valbuena. He is up there and sees a lot of pitches every at bat. So he is a pest in that number 7 slot. Last night he hit 8th, and the game before he hit 7th. This will be the 9th pitch, and it comes up. It is taken on a check swing, no swing, ball 3. The 3-2 to Valbuena. Boy, you really have to admire a guy who is involved in so many pitches. You say, well, he's hitting less than 200. But boy, when you are able to stay up there that long, I think you have a chance to be a fairly good hitter. 3-2. We'll see about Castillo. He's not going, and it's ball 4. So Valbuena wins another battle with the Dodgers. For Joe Blanton, in the 8 innings against the Dodgers, he didn't walk anybody, and he has walked 2 so far. In fact, Blanton's numbers coming into this game, 18 walks and 115 strikeouts. So that was a 10-pitch at bat for Valbuena. That's a great at bat for him. And here's Darwin Barney. He lays off a pitch, tries to but can't, and it'll be a strike, and the count 0-1. Darwin Barney hitting .268, 5 home runs, 31 runs batted in. So he's a pretty solid number 8 hitter. On deck, Justin Germano. 2 on, 1 out, 1-0 Cubs, 2nd inning. Blanton ready and delivers. Fastball foul back. That was up and in. 0-2 the count. So he went right after Barney. No balls, 2 strikes. Darwin Barney. Interesting background, interesting mixture of races. The next pitch to Darwin is swung on and missed, and down he goes. He with a Korean grandfather and a Japanese grandmother. So down goes Darwin. And with 2 out, that will bring up Justin Germano. So that was a big out to nail Barney with 1st and 2nd and only 1 out. Now 2. Justin Germano hasn't played very much for the Cubs. He's 0 for 2 this year. In his career, typical pitcher, hitting about 170, 173. The first pitch, fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Blanton set at the belt. Another look at the runners. Back he comes, and Germano takes another strike, and the count 0-2. So 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 Cubs, 2nd inning. Dodgers have Ethier, Ramirez, and Loney when they come up in the bottom of the 2nd. Blanton set. Here he comes. Fastball hit foul outside of 3rd. Still 0-2. In the 1st inning, DeJesus walked to open up the game. Jackson hit a ground ball to Loney, and we're not picking on him, but it was the 2nd day in a row where James stepped on first and then missed the runner at 2nd. And 1 out later, Rizzo single, scored DeJesus. Strike 2 pitch is poked on the ground to Mark Ellis. The out should be easily recorded, and is, and that'll do it. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left at the end of an inning and a half. Cubs 1, Dodgers 0. the local boy. He went to Claremont High School and was drafted by San Diego. I'm not sure if it's because he pitched in the Far East or not, but he is one of those fellows who likes tattoos. He has 7 of them strategically placed on his body. He has a cross on his left shoulder. He has tribal bands around his ankle and on his back. He has the 2 kanji Japanese symbols that mean strength and courage. He also has the word germ, and of course that is for his last name. And as Justin says, when I got my first tattoo, the artist had a sign that read, "Welcome to your new addiction." And Justin laughed and said, "That's always stood out because I always say each tattoo is my last." He also has his newest tattoo, Amatufo, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's on his right torso. It's a word used by Buddhist monks. The pitch in for a strike. 0-1 to Ethier, hitting .285. That word, Amitufo, and apparently the Buddhists, when they meditate, utter that word. It helps them relax and find peace. Strike 1 pitch is off the plate, 1-1. So for Justin Germano, he says it clears his mind, helps him focus. And boy, I'll tell you what, if you can find peace in these troubled times, we'd all learn the same word. The 1-1 pitch, and that's a little low to Andre. Ball 2, 2-1. So Justin Germano starting off a new career with the Cubs. He's been a professional since 2000 when he made his debut with the Padres. 2-1 pitch, and that's a little low. Ball 3, 3-1. He is definitely not a hard thrower. Waiting on deck, hitting behind Ethier, Hanley Ramirez. 3-1. Germano delivers fastball line to right field. Moving over to flag it, however, is DeJesus. So Ethier hits the ball hard but lines out to right. One away, and Hanley Ramirez will be coming up. Ramirez last night went 0 for 4. In the game before, he had a single and a double. His first 2 hits in Dodger Stadium. Over 14 games, Hanley has been wearing out Chicago pitching. His average, however, for the year, .245, 15 home runs, 58 runs batted in, and he takes ball 1, 1-0. Ramirez has 1 home run and 10 RBIs as a Dodger. Takes it low, so he's ahead of the count. 2 balls and no strikes. 1-0 Chicago, bottom of the 2nd inning. Justin Germano, the pride of Pasadena and Claremont, up against the boy from Brownsville, Kentucky, Joe Blanton. Next pitch pulled hard to third, backhanded by Valbuena to throw him out. Luis took 1 step back and then had to short hop and backhand that ball. It was hit hard. Boy, he's got good hands to be able to do that. And he nails Ramirez easily at first. 2 down, 2nd inning, and here's James Loney. James Loney last night had 1 hit, went 1 for 3. Game before, he had 1 hit, a double, hitting .255, 2 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Germano works the first pitch away, 1 ball and no strikes. Loney hitting .294 coming into this game since the All-Star break, coming off a wonderful July where he hit .318. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Here at home, Loney is hitting .285. Two balls and no strikes. Germano ready and delivers and flips that one in nicely for a strike, and the count 2-1. Justin Germano. with all of his traveling and all of his pitching and all of his teams and all of his countries, he's still just going to be 26 tomorrow. He works down and away to Loney. Ball 3, 3-1. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's the new Tat Man. That was the nickname for Ryan Roberts when he was with Arizona. Line drive, short hop by Rizzo, who throws to first for the out. Wow. A sinking line drive, and one first baseman makes a wonderful play to put down another. And the Dodgers hit the ball hard and go 1-2-3. And at the end of 2, 1-0 Cubs. Go to the third inning, and David DeJesus, who walked and scored a run. We look off in the distance and see layers of puffy white clouds, humidity for sure, and the pitch away, ball 1, 1-0. The breeze looks like from the flags is blowing two ways, though it's swirling. One flag going right to left, the other just about going straight away center. The next pitch, DeJesus way out in front of it, and the count 1-1 strike. So we're in the third inning. Cubs 1 run, 2 hits. Dodgers nothing across. Retired 6 in a row. DeJesus, then Brett Jackson, and then Anthony Rizzo. The 1-1 pitch, a drag bunt, is instead fouled over the backstop screen, and the count 1-2. So DeJesus coming back. DeJesus scoring a run on the base hit by Anthony Rizzo. David had a 6-game hitting streak, but it was snapped Tuesday against the Pirates. The 1-2 pitch on the way, in there, strike 3 call. DeJesus knew it and walked away. So 1 out in the third inning. And a reminder, Tuesday, August 21st with the Giants, Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead night. Fans with the first 50,000 tickets can take home their very own mini El Toro, compliments of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. The first pitch in under the knuckles to young Brett Jackson, the pride of Berkeley and the University of California. 6'2", 210, just turned 24, making his major league debut, and he takes ball 2, 2-0. Jackson was not drafted when he graduated from Miramonte High School, but he accepted a baseball scholarship to go to Cal. He takes the next one low, ball 3. He majored in sociology and art, but his preferred medium is not paint or charcoal, it's sculpture. The 3-0 pitch, he takes ball 4. So Joe Blanton has walked 3, and that is highly unusual for a fella who had only walked 18 all year. So Jackson aboard, 1 out. Anthony Rizzo coming up. Jackson, by the way, in the minor leagues, ran very well. In fact, this year at Iowa, he stole 27 bases. So they might very well run him. And here is Rizzo. And he grounds one to Mark Ellis. They will get the front man. The throw to first, however, is late. So the force play goes 4-6. Rizzo is aboard with 2 out. And Alfonso Soriano will be coming up. The Rizzo holding at first, and Soriano checking in. Alfonso Soriano, who has learned to become a very good left fielder. Of course, when they signed him for an 8-year deal worth about $136 million, they were really signing him to hit. But it took him a while to learn the position. Worked a lot with Bob Dernier, who used to play the outfield in the big leagues, and it certainly paid off defensively for Alfonso. He has 19 home runs, 62 runs batted in, time at the plate. We mentioned it in each game, so this is the last time we're going to see the Cubs. Soriano did not have a home run in the first 30 games. What did he do? He went to a much lighter bat and then hit 19. 1 ball and no strikes to Alfonso Soriano, 6'1", about 180 pounds, from San Pedro de Macorís. His uncle was a minor league catcher in the Dodger organization. This time he skies one foul off to the right of the plate. That's going to go on the roof of the visiting dugout and kangaroo back in about 9 rows. When Alfonso Soriano was 16, he was going to the baseball academy owned by the Hiroshima Carp of the Japanese Central League. He lived at the academy during the week for about 2 years and then signed, though the Yankees had to sign him from the Hiroshima Carp. The 1-1 pitch is instead a throw to first. 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. We're in the third. Soriano hit as many as 46 home runs. That's when he had that year with the Nationals in 2006. He takes low, 2-1. And of course, that was indeed almost a providential lead, because the 46 that he hit for the Nationals led to that monstrous 8-year contract. His high ever since, 33. The 2-1 pitch, Alfonso takes low, 3-1 the count. When the commissioner declared that Soriano was a free agent, that set off quite a bidding war, and the Yankees won it. 3-1 pitch, swung on and missed, 3-2. Soriano, of course, strikes out a lot. He's a very aggressive hitter. He has struck out so far 97 times, but he's topped by Brian LaHair. The young outfielder has struck out 105 times. LaHair played right field during this series. So 3-2. Rizzo will be going with 2 out. Soriano waiting. Soriano is 7 for 21 with 2 RBIs in the past against Blanton. Runner goes, fastball swung on and missed. Soriano strikes out again. He went down 3 times last night and once the game before, and it's still 1-0 Cubs. Go to the bottom of the third inning. Joe Blandon has made 51 pitches for the Dodgers. In the bottom of the third, it'll be Luis Cruz, A.J. Ellis, and then Joe Blandon. Justin Germano ready and delivers and gets a strike, and the count 0-1. Philadelphia Phillies scored 1 in the 8th to tie the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, excuse me, and 1 in the bottom of the 9th to win it. There's a tapper on a line right into the glove of Justin Germano. Not a hard line drive, but that was certainly the trajectory, 1 away. So the final score, Phillies 5, Diamondbacks 4. The Rockies game, the Giants are leading 3-1 at the end of 4 innings. Tim Lincecum knocked in a run, and he was just helped as Melky Cabrera gunned down a runner at the plate. So 4 innings in, Giants 3, Rockies 1, D-backs lose. The standings, remember, going in as A.J. Ellis takes a strike, 0-1. Dodgers trail the Giants by a half a game. Arizona trailing by 3 and now in danger of dropping to 4. The strike one pitch on the way. Ellis takes a little low, 1 ball, 1 strike. A.J. in game 1 had that great night. First time in his career he had 2 home runs in a game, and he also had a base hit to drive in a run. He takes a second strike, 1-2 the count. We also get a report now that the Giants have just added another run, so they're in the 5th inning. Giants 4, Rockies 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, 3rd inning. Justin Germano, who's at home here in Claremont, is very much at home on the mound here at Dodger Stadium. He's retired 7 in a row. Justin turns, his 2-2 pitch on the way, foul back. 2-2 to A.J. Ellis. A.J. doing the bulk of catching, and having caught 2 night games in a row, he comes right back to work today. So he has now been in 85 games. 2-2. Germano's fastball is grounded up the middle. So Ellis, who has a very well-deserved reputation of being a fine 2-strike hitter, goes with 2-2 and singles to center, and that's the first hit. So that breaks the string. 7 in a row had been retired. And here's Joe Blandon. Blandon has 3 hits. Strikes out about half the time, showing bunt, and gets the bunt down. Germano picks it up. He has to throw to Barney covering at first base. So the sacrifice works. That moves Ellis to second, and the tying run is in scoring position with Shane Victorino coming up. So Blandon will get a bunch of 5s when he gets to the dugout, doing his job, aiding his own cause, dropping down the perfect bunt. 1-0 Chicago, but the Dodgers have Ellis at second base with 2 out. Shane Victorino, a little half a pop fly is about the way they described the ball he hit to Starlin Castro, the shortstop. Ellis doesn't have to worry about Barney. Barney's playing just about in Pasadena. So for Ellis, he can take a very big lead with only Castro behind him. And the first pitch to Victorino, breaking low, ball 1. The Dodgers will await the arrival of the Colorado Rockies starting tomorrow night. The Giants will head to St. Louis. They have a 4-game series coming up with the St. Louis Cardinals. 4 in St. Louis in August. They are welcome to that. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. That finds the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers, of course, could write a book on what it was like to play in St. Louis, and that was the end of July. where the temperature got up as high, I believe it was 108. 1 ball and 1 strike. Justin Germano back with a fastball in for a strike, and the count 1-2. Well, he had 2 strikes on Ellis, 2-2 to be exact. Tried to throw a fastball by him, and AJ singled to center, bunted over to second base, and Victorino with 40 runs batted in, trying to pick him up. Shane, 9 home runs. Dodgers trying to get even. Germano trying to hold them at bay. And now time for the moment. Germano backs off the rubber. Victorino out of the box. So the flying Hawaiian, the man from Maui, Shane Victorino. The 1-2 pitch coming up. And it's a curveball lifted to center. Right there is Brett Jackson to make the catch. So the Dodgers leave Ellis at second base. We have 3 innings in the books, and the Cubs lead 1-0. Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. Internet, TV, and home phone from Time Warner Cable. 4th inning, 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. And for Chicago, it'll be Castro, Castillo, and then Valbuena against newly acquired Joe Blanton. Starlin Castro, who has the reputation of being, let's say, an impatient young hitter, and swung at the first pitch and flied to right. This time takes a strike. 0-1 the count. I was just wondering aloud during commercial, where is Matt Trainer? Foul ball. Matt Trainer's wife, Misty May Trainer, is scheduled to just start her volleyball game with her partner, Kerry Walsh Jennings. I'm sure Matt, if he had his druthers, would have a computer and he'd be taking a look at it. Pretty hard to wait until tonight. But Matt doing his job, trying to block that out. 1 away here as Castro bites the dust. That's the 4th strikeout for Joe Blanton. And the batter, Wellington Castillo. Blanton has allowed 1 run, 2 hits, walked 3, struck out 4. Castillo single to center in the 2nd inning. Starts him with a good fastball in for a strike, hit 92 on the gun. Wellington Castro. Some different first names on the Cubs when you think about it. Wellington Castillo, Starlin Castro, Darwin Barney. 1-2. 1 out, 4th inning. 1-0 Chicago. It was 83 when the game started. Little dribbler foul. Still 1-2. So the Dodgers will dig in and host Colorado tomorrow night. And the Giants, after their game in Colorado, will go for 4 games with the Cardinals. Ground ball to third. On it there is Cruz. Gets it across. Oh, we have 2 down in the 4th inning. And the batter will be Luis Valbuena, who has really been impressive during this series. I'll tell you what. He is, without a doubt, he's the most impressive 198 hitter we've seen in quite a while. Impressive because he really makes the pitcher work. He was 1 for 3 in the first game with a double, but as we mentioned earlier, he gets deep in the count, and sure enough, he's ball 1. He had an 8-pitch at bat last night. He had a 9-pitch at bat last night. He also struck out. He had a 10-pitch at bat today. 1 ball and 1 strike. Off the plate. Ball 2, 2-1. Dodger pitchers have been pitching him like he's Babe Ruth. They're not just trying to throw strikes. Looks like they're trying to make perfect pitches. Fouled away. 2-2 the count to Luis Valbuena. Valbuena with Darwin Barney hitting back of him. Three and 2, so there you go again. Valbuena has gotten the most respect of any Cub hitter, even though he's batting 198. And he hits a high fly ball to deep right. Ethier on the track in front of the scoreboard. Though he was about 5 feet shy, instead just a long out. So the Cubs go in order, and at the end of 3.5, it's still Cubs 1, Dodgers 0. We were talking before about Matt Trainer and how he had to be torn between his job and worrying about his wife. Well, the results are in, and Misty May Trainer and Kerry Walsh Jennings, they have defeated Italy. They move to the semifinals. They will play China, and if they survive China, they'll go on for the gold medal battle. So for Matt Trainer, I'm sure a great deal of joy, but a great deal of relief, and the story is not finished. First pitch to Mark Ellis, a strike. Mark Ellis popped up in the first inning. And a little pop fly to the right side. Darwin Barney. He had to get those shades down immediately, then flips them right back up again. Not a cloud up there. All the clouds are gathered over the mountains. So I'm sure from the looks of it, you'd expect there might be some rain showers or certainly high humidity up atop the hills. One away here in the fourth. Matt Kemp struck out in the first inning. Dodgers had a very tough time last night against Chris Volstad. Volstad surrendered 2 runs while he was there, and even the 2 runs that Chris Volstad gave up involved Matt Kemp. Remember, he hit that high drive to deep right center. Joe Mather at 6'4" leaped up and actually got his glove on the home run, but the glove hits the top of the wall and the ball spilled out and went over for a 2-run home run, and that was just enough to beat the Cubs. 2-0. Off the plate, ball 3 on deck, Andre Ethier. In case you were wondering, we checked. The Giants, after today, have a 4-game series with the Cardinals. They've only played 2 games with St. Louis, and they split them in San Francisco. That's a strike, Matt. Oh, yeah. 3-1. You know what got Don Mattingly kicked out of a game on the road trip? The opposing batters doing exactly that. And you say, why would he get kicked out? Well, what the opposing batters were doing on every 3-1 pitch, they would go to first base. The umpire would call him back. The crowd would boo, and Don felt that was then influencing the plate umpire on the next pitch. Starlin Castro gets rid of it in a hurry, and you have 2 down in the 4th inning. Maybe it does. You know, if it's repetitive, 3-1, the batter starts to first, the umpire says strike 2, and the crowd, of course, will always boo. And the umpire's human, and maybe once in a while he might decide, well, gee, maybe I was a little wrong on that previous pitch, and you have yourself a different situation. And Mattingly finally went out and objected and got kicked out for it. Andre Ethier hit the ball hard, but he hit it right at David DeJesus. 1-0 Cubs in the 4th. And remember that set of numbers since the middle of June, when the Cubs score first, their record is 18-4, which is staggering, especially considering they're 22 games under 500 on the road. 1-1 to Andre. Going to be with us tomorrow night. Rockies will be here. Chris Capuano going for his 11th win. He'll go up against Drew Pomeranz. Tuesday night, we know Aaron Herring. Rockies are not sure. Wednesday night, Chad Billingsley. And again, the Rockies are not sure. The Rockies, of course, are going through a very rocky period. They're in last place. They've lost 8 of the last 10. They're 19 games back of the Giants. So if the Giants beat them today, they're going to come here snarling, and they'll be 20 games out of first place. And old pal Jim Tracy will arrive in Los Angeles. 2-2 to Ethier. And a high fly ball to right field, but playable. DeJesus is right there. And so one way or another, Justin Germano, even though the Dodgers are tattooing a few of his pitches, He has his own set, and he's leading 1-0. DeJesus walked. Brett Jackson hit a ground ball to Loney, and for the second game in a row, James did not go for the front man. He stepped on the bag, then threw to second too late. Last night it cost a run. It cost a run in the first inning, and that's the only run in the game. Darwin Barney, and a strike. He'll be followed by Germano and DeJesus. Off speed for a strike. Barney out of Portland, Oregon, went to Oregon State. He is the complete difference of Luis Valbuena. Valbuena always gets deep. Usually he's out of there in a hurry. 1-2 the count to Darwin Barney. Likes the first pitch, averaging less than 3.5 pitches for his at-bats. He made 3 College World Series appearances while he was co-captain of Oregon State. But down he goes. Strikeout number 5 for Joe Blanton. That will bring up Justin Germano, who grounded out in the second inning. Dodgers have 1 hit through 4 innings. They've had 1 man get to second base. A.J. Ellis singled with 1 out. He was sacrificed to second by Blanton, but Victorino hit a fly ball to center, and that's it. So 1-0 Chicago. Fly ball to right. Andre is there. Two down. David DeJesus coming up.
Right fielder number 9, David DeJesus.
When you look at Blanton's career, the 2 months where he is outstanding, August and September. He is 14-6 in August in his career, 17-6 in his career in September. Another note about him is before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. He is 8 games under 500 in his career in the first half, 18 games above 500 in the second half. So the Dodgers would appear to have him at exactly the right time. Fastball strike, 1-1. He was so impressive the last time he was here with Philadelphia. Oh, wow. No walks, not even close to walking anybody, 7 strikeouts. Really impressive. 1-1. Ball 2. Coming into the inning, he had made 65 pitches. In the low 70s right now with 2 out. Two and 1. That's at the knees. 2-2. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 5th inning, Ramirez, Loney, and Cruz. DeJesus walked, scored the only run, and struck out. Slap foul off to the left. Last 3 for the homestand starting tomorrow night. Hope you be out here with us. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights with the Colorado Rockies. Cargo is still alive and well and playing for Colorado. One of the more attractive players in the league, Carlos Gonzalez. They lost Troy Tulowitzki, and that really put a hole in the lineup and with the team. They've never recovered once they lost Tulo. Three and 2 to DeJesus with Brett Jackson, left-hand hitter, on deck. And a line drive base hit. So as the players say, DeJesus was sitting on the fastball. He got it and singles to right.
Center fielder number 7, Brett Jackson.
That would be hit number 3 for Chicago. Brett Jackson grounded to Loney and walked. So Brett making his big league debut today here in Los Angeles. A lot of scouts have compared Brett Jackson to Mark Kotsay in his prime. Fouled away, 0-1. Brett Jackson last year hit .412 for Team USA at the World Cup in Panama. There are some other people who compare him to J.D. Drew, but of course that's an American thing. We cannot resist the temptation of comparing everybody. I mean, some kid can come up, right-hand batter, spread eagle stance, and I'll say, you know, he looks a lot like Joe DiMaggio. Yeah, it's just part of our culture. Brett Jackson. You know his role model growing up? Center fielder Jim Edmonds, who had a great career and worked very hard at it and was a brilliant center fielder. And for Brett, he's in center field today. Ground foul. Amazing how things move in a hurry. He is 24 years old now. When he was 19 years old, he went to a ball game at Wrigley Field. He said, I was overwhelmed walking in there. You can feel the history. And now here he is playing for the Cubs a couple of years later. Joe Blanton out of Brownsville, Kentucky. 1-0 Cubs. DeJesus at first with 2 out. Blanton and base runners. He has not been very successful. The base runners have been more successful against him in his career. The success rate is 77%. So 2 out. We'll see about DeJesus. Fouled away. DeJesus is not a particularly good threat to steal. He's a break-even base stealer. 5-5. That's not very good. Starlin Castro has stolen 16. Anthony Campana has stolen 26 out of 29. That's going to go into right field, base hit. DeJesus will hold on. Ethier throws a strike into second base, Mark Ellis. So with 2 out, singles by DeJesus and Jackson, and the left-hand hitting Anthony Rizzo coming up. So Blanton facing Rizzo. Anthony singled home DeJesus in the first inning and hit into a force play in the third. The Cubs have a couple of players you could really call can't miss. I mean, they certainly have Starlin Castro, but he has passed the can't miss range. Castro's an all-star 2 years in a row. But Rizzo is another fella they really talk highly about. And he's hitting .307. Up there with a chance to hurt. 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 Cubs. That's on the corner. 1-1. Rizzo is 6'3", 220. Came in here hitting .363 against right-hand pitching. And he hits one to right. Ethier started back and then just one-hands it. So they get a tough hitter and leave 2. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. The end of 4.5. It's still 1-0 Chicago. The new California Lottery Black Scratchers. Luck has a new look. 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. By the way, the Cubs in 1-run games on the road have 2 wins and 12 losses. So they're trying to do the virtually impossible today behind Justin Germano. Slow breaking ball, ball 1. Hanley Ramirez grounded to third in the second inning. Hit the ball hard. Nice play by Valbuena to throw him out. They put the shift on. Remember, he made them pay for it. Since Barney goes across the line to the other side of second base, Hanley Ramirez hit one right where the umpire is on the ground, and it went for a leg double. 1-1. Ball 2. We can tell you they're in the top of the 7th inning. Giants lead the Rockies 4-1. Lincecum shaking a lot of hands in the dugout, so the feeling is Tim is going to call it a game at the end of 6, leading 4-1. Ground ball to Valbuena. Nice bit of footwork. Good stretch by Anthony Rizzo. That's a tough play when the throw from third is heading towards foul ground and certainly in front of the bag. You have to go into foul ground to get it. You put your left foot on, as you can see. You kind of leave the bag wide open for the runner. It's something when you're first trying to play that position you forget. But Rizzo, who made a dazzling play on a ball hit by Loney in the second inning, looks like he is, as my mother would say, a smooth article. One away. Here's Loney. Strike. James robbed of a hit by Rizzo. Hitting .254, 2 home runs. As a hopper the other way into left field for a base hit. So Loney is single. That'll bring up Luis Cruz. You know, it's not too late for Dodger season tickets. You can purchase today. You'll receive all of this year's new benefits and partial postseason rights. There's great locations available between the bases. So to purchase, be sure to visit Dodgers.com/season tickets. Good deal. Well, here's Cruz. He hit a soft line drive. We say that because we weren't at the other end of it. Hit it right back to Germano. This time a fly ball to right field. DeJesus is there, and he'll left-handed back in. So Cruz a fly ball, 2 down, and the batter will be A.J. Ellis.
Batting next, catcher number 17.
With 1 out in the 3rd inning, Ellis singled. Joe Blandon sacrificed him to second. He's the only Dodger to get to second base so far. And we have 2 out in the 5th inning. A.J. with 10 home runs. 32 RBIs, hitting .256. Big breaking ball, ball 1. Loney doesn't figure to be any kind of a base stealing threat, especially in the spot with Blanton on deck. And by the way, James is 0 for 3 in stolen bases anyway. 1 ball and no strikes. That's in there, 1-1. We get a report. Hunter Pence, the newly acquired right fielder for the Giants, got him from the Phillies, just doubled in a run. So in the 7th inning, the Giants now lead the Rockies 5-1. Pence is one of the rare guys who has homered in double figures, who chokes up on the bat. There's a shot to the gap in left center. Now let's see about Loney. It's picked up, bobbled in center field, and Loney is going to score. Brett Jackson, the center fielder, did not play the ball cleanly off the wall, and that's all the Dodgers needed. So Loney scores from first on a double by A.J. Ellis. Jackson and Soriano converging on the ball, and here's the play. When that got away from Jackson, that allowed Loney to score. So the Dodgers get a break. They tie it up, and Ellis is now into second base with the double. They haven't said whether there's an error charge to Jackson or not. No word, so unless we hear otherwise, it's just a double and a run batted in. So 1-1 in the 5th. 2 out. Here's Blanton. Foul ball, 0-1. When the Cubs come up in the 6th inning, they'll have Soriano, Castro, and Castilla. Blandon sacrificed Ellis with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Now he's up there with 2 out, and Ellis at second base. Big slow curveball, but it missed. 1-1. So Blanton even in the game. Germano, who's pitching so very well. Fastball popped in the air, foul. Late start from Castillo, but it's back in the stands. That came awfully close to hitting Todd Bowley. Todd, one of the officers of Guggenheim, one of the owners of the ball club, in the blue shirt. One ball and two strikes. One and two. Breaking ball got him looking. So Blandon caught looking and strikes out. However, the Dodgers get a run on two hits, and at the end of 5, a 1-1 tie. Told me that his mother thought I was certainly her favorite announcer, only because I called him Wilbur Stargell instead of Willie. Well, on this day in 1969, Stargell, by any other name, hit a ball over the pavilion roof in right field. That's right, out of the ballpark. He hit it against right-hander Alan Foster of the Dodgers. They estimated the ball went about 506 feet. So a rose is a rose by any other name. Stargell, quite a player, whether he was Wilbur and Willie. Did I see that classic home run? Nope. I was in the bathroom. Jerry Doggett was calling the play. With that, let's move on to the sixth. Nice going, Scully. Blanton even now working on Soriano. And that's ball one. Yeah, that had to be one of the greatest home runs I never saw. Wilbur Stargell. What a guy. One ball and one strike to Soriano, who has hit into a double play and struck out. He has struck out 5 times in the 3 games. 2-1. Boy, that string of white clouds, like a mountain of clouds above the mountains. Meanwhile, Soriano pops it up into right center, and it'll be Ethier fighting the sun. They're just pointing out the fact that the blue sky is brilliant, and there's a mountain of clouds, which means humidity. It seems like it's gotten more humid as the day has progressed.
Batting next, shortstop, Starlin Castro.
One down in the 6th. Starlin Castro. Flied to right, struck out. Be careful on the first pitch. He likes it. Instead, takes the strike. Joe Blanton gave up a run in the first inning and has found a new home on the mound at Dodger Stadium. Hard ground ball, backhanded by Cruz on his knee again. Nice play. Cruz played a lot of shortstop for the Dodgers, of course, until Hanley Ramirez, but he played a lot of third base in spring training and in the minors. So he can cut it down there. 2 down, and Wellington Castillo coming up. Castillo singled, and he lost a hit on a ground ball to Cruz. Oh and 1. And a high fly ball into deep right center. That one has some sock behind it. It is gone. Wellington Castillo reaches the bleachers in right center field, and up pops the devil. The one thing that has haunted Joe Blanton is the price that he pays for throwing strikes. And the long home run by the catcher makes it 2-1. That is the 23rd home run given up by Joe Blanton this year. He has also had a lot of problems, as you can imagine. He is 49th on the active list, home runs allowed. He's given up 164. A couple of years ago, Joe gave up 30. But, of course, in Philadelphia, it's a little easier. It's a hitter's ballpark. But it's just the same story for anybody in the big leagues who consistently throws strikes. He consistently will be giving up home runs. And it is 2-1 in favor of the Cubs. Trying desperately not to be swept. Remember, the Dodgers haven't swept the Cubs here since 1998. Two and 2. Wellington Castillo, 4th home run in a career, but more importantly, having just been called up, he's found the knack. Castillo is from the Dominican Republic, from San Ysidro. He was signed 8 years ago as a free agent. They signed him when he was 17. Castillo thought he was going to be a third baseman, and a Phillies scout said you'd have a heck of a better chance being a catcher. So he put on the gear, and he became a member of the Cubs, and he is indeed a member now, leading 2-1. Hard ground ball. Nice pick by Mark Ellis for the 3rd out. Dodgers are fortunate too. Remember the play that Castro, that hard ground ball, and the good play by Cruz at 3rd. That was followed by the home run. And it's only 2-1 Chicago. Dodgers will have Joe Blanton due up And check me on that. Bland struck out. So Victorino will start it off. Behind the plate with the gear, Wellington Castillo, young man from the Dominican, who was very smart. After they signed him, one of the first things he did, he took an English course at home in the Dominican. He wanted to make sure he could communicate. Well, he has communicated right now. It's 2-1 Chicago. And a strike to Victorino. Shane has popped up, fly to center, 0 for 2. The fly ball to center hurt him because he had Ellis at second with 2 out. Another strike. Boy, Justin Germano has pitched so well. Allowed 1 run, 3 hits. 1 and 2. So born in Pasadena, lives in Claremont, went to Claremont High. Got to feel good to be home. Little roller foul. Germano coming into this inning has also pitched a minimum number of pitches, only 65 pitches in 5 innings. Nevertheless, they're backing him up. Alberto Cabrera, the right-hander, Scott Main, the left-hander, throwing in the Cub bullpen. 1-2 the count to Victorino. Light breeze blowing left to right. And that popped right out of the catcher's mitt, and first moving behind the plate before calling it strike 3. Like there was a spring in Castillo's mitt. Let's take a look. It just popped out. There was also strike 3 to Victorino, who did not pop off. Here's Ellis. Couple of pop flies, 0 for 2. They really swing the infield around. Ball 1. Anthony Rizzo way off the bag, almost in the hole on the right side. Darwin Barney is on the rim. So is Castro. And flirting with the line is Valbuena. The outfield pinches the middle. So they give Ellis straightaway left and straightaway right. Like real estate, location is everything. Good breaking ball. 2-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, left-hander Randy Choate. 2-1 to Mark Ellis. Tried to time it, couldn't do it. It came up there at 71. 2-2. So Justin Germano with 1 out in the 6th inning is not overpowering at all. He's just fooling hitters. He has struck out 3. Blanton has struck out 5. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Cubs. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. We mentioned on the road the Cubs are 2-12 in 1-run games. That's going to go foul. Dodgers at home in 1-run games are 12-11. Not much. Well, Don Mattingly sweating it out. The Dodgers struggling. They were very fortunate to score 3 runs last night. 3-2. Way inside, and it hits him. So Ellis hit by the pitch. And with 1 out, Matt Kemp will be coming up. For Germano, he is anything but a headhunter. Doesn't throw hard enough for that. That's the first batter that he has hit. for Mark Ellis. That is the 4th time he's been nailed. And now let's see Dale Swam going to the mound. He has a right hand and a left hand in the pen, and that's going to send Germano home. We'll be right back. Is brought to you by your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a luxurious Lexus today. Visit Lexus.com. And by Sports Authority, the official sporting goods retailer of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Chicago Cubs leading the Dodgers 2-1. A tiring Justin Germano hits Mark Ellis, so they lift him for Alberto Cabrera, right-hander from the Dominican Republic, who throws hard. Maybe that was the idea after the Dodgers have been pretty well lulled by the slow stuff, and it was excellent, turned in by Justin Germano. Now they'll see a guy who can throw as high as 97. Cabrera with a fastball, slider, and change. Did not have a good year last year. They say for a lot of reasons he lost velocity and his sharpness. So they bring him in now with a tying run at first base. And he'll be facing Matt Kemp. Cabrera is only in his 3rd game, though he's another recall. And it's a big moment in his baseball life for sure. Matt Kemp here to greet him. For Germano, he made 77 pitches. Matt Kemp struck out and grounded out against Germano. And starts him as he expected, about a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, which probably looks 125 after you've been looking at Justin Germano. Cabrera was just called up Wednesday from Iowa. 0-2. Cabrera certainly made rapid strides. He pitched a full season in Single A in 09, Double A in 10, Triple A 11, big leagues today. He made his major league debut, turning an inning Wednesday. 0-2 to Kemp. Ellis at first, 1 out. 2-1 Cubs. One and two. That slider was exactly where Castillo wanted it. Waiting on deck, Andre Ethier, who hit the ball very hard against Germano but went 0 for 2. Mark Ellis 5 for 5 in stolen bases. Pushed out in front of the plate, 2-2. So with Kemp and with a runner at first, Darwin Barney cannot overly commit. He's still on the right side of second base. Castro would be deep at the hole. The outfield fanned out and deep. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another hard slider, and he behind and goes 3-2. So with 1 out, we'll see how Mattingly plays it. He has a good base runner in Ellis. Matt Kemp, basically a fly ball hitter. He's only hit into 6 double plays. Dodgers down by 1, and Ellis the tying run. So the first decision, do you run him? Ellis is not gone. Foul back. Matt Kemp has struck out about 25% of the time, roughly. 16 home runs, 41 runs batted in. Ellis was not going on the last 3-2 pitch. He is not gone on ball 4. So Kemp gets the walk, first and second with 1 out, and Andre Ethier coming up. Ethier against Germano hit a line drive right at DeJesus in right field, his first at bat. In the 4th inning, he hit a long fly ball to right field to DeJesus, and now he comes up with 2 on and 1 out. Andre hitting .284, but as you know, hitting a lot better than that against right-hand pitching. The left-handers drag his average down. He's hitting .327 against right-hand pitching. When you look at Ethier, who is not just a fly ball hitter, Andre has grounded into 9 double plays. Well, we'll see. 2 on, 1 out. Breaking ball, strike. 0-1. Little late breaking slider at the outside corner. So Ellis hit by a pitch, and that lifted Germano for Cabrera, who then went 3-2 and walked Kemp. A dancing Ellis, an off-speed pitch in there again. So 2 changeups back to back. That last changeup had a little fade to it. On deck, Hanley Ramirez. Ellis at second, Kemp at first, 1 out. 2-1 Cubs. 6th inning. Castro now trying to take a step away from Ellis. That's a foul ball. 0-2. So with Ethier up at the plate, they don't have to worry about Barney. He's on the rim on the right side. However, Castro is overshifted, so he can shadow Ellis as Mark takes his lead. One and 2. Andre with 11 home runs, 61 RBIs. Alberto Cabrera, only 23. He'll be 24 in October. Waiting on deck, Hanley Ramirez. 1 out. off the plate. 2-2. Of course, adding to the pressure of the situation for the Dodgers is the fact the Giants were leading handily in Colorado behind Lincecum. Of course, the Giant bullpen's been pretty shaky, so no lead is really safe with 3 innings to go, especially in Colorado. Check swing, foul ball, still 2-2. Talking about that game, the Giants now are leading the Rockies 7-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Now here's the big part of that story, and that would be Tim Lincecum. And Lincecum, who was struggling since the get-go, in his last 5 starts, including today, Lincecum's earned run average is 2.5. If he wins today, and he should, his record will be 3-1 in those 5 starts. Ball 3. So if Lincecum has indeed turned his act around, that makes it another tougher horse race. The Dodgers got Ramirez, the Dodgers got Blanton and Victorino, and if the Giants get the real Tim Lincecum, hold on to your hat. And what about the runners here? 3-2 and 1 out. They are not going on strike 3, or did he foul it? He's hanging around and walking away, so he struck out.
Batting next, shortstop number 13.
So Ethier, a huge strikeout. Runners at first and second and 2 down, and Hanley Ramirez coming up. Ramirez has grounded to third twice. Hanley 15 home runs, 58 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Castillo out to talk to his pitcher Cabrera. And the Dodger base runners, Mark Ellis at second, Matt Kemp at first, a hit batter and a walk. So nothing really offensively for the Dodgers. And here is Ramirez. Ball 1. Started him slider. On deck, James Loney. 2 on, 2 out, 2-1 Chicago. And a fastball almost hit him. 2-0. Cabrera pitching professionally since 2006. Made the usual stops all the way up the rung. Peoria, Daytona, Tennessee, and Iowa. And now the big leagues. And he's behind now, 3-0. So the Dodgers will accept all gifts. They've had a hit batter and a walk. 2 hitters have struck out, and they now have a shot, but if nothing else, a walk to load the bases, unless they allow Hanley Ramirez to swing. And he almost got nailed. So that's ball 4, and the bases are loaded thanks to the Cub generosity of Germano and now Cabrera. So James Loney is coming up, but they have Scott Maine and James Russell down in the bullpen, both left-handers. And that'll do it for Cabrera. He was wild. They're going to the left side. We'll find out about Loney or Rivera, and we'll be right back. Brought to you by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country. And by Farmer John, taste the local flavor. Dodgers have loaded the bases, although it might be better to say the Cubs have loaded the bases on a hit batter and 2 walks. Scott Maine is now trying to extricate his team, and it will be what you figured. Loney will give way against the left-hander, and Juan Rivera will be coming up. Rivera, as a pinch hitter, is 2 for 12 coming off the bench. Juan this year hitting .252 against right-handers and .255 against left-handers. In his career, he has 3 grand slams. The last one was back in '06 against Seattle. So Scott Maine breaking ball, but it's a little high. Ball 1. So at third base you have Ellis, at second Kemp, at first Ramirez. One ball and no strikes. And another breaking ball, little slider in there. 1-1 the count. So Scott Maine appeared briefly in the first game. He was originally drafted by the Diamondbacks out of the University of Miami. He lives in Palm Beach Gardens. Fastball in there. 1-2 the count. So after a couple of sliders, one up and one in, he comes back with a fastball. Of course, he throws as hard as 97. That's rare for a left-hander. There's a pretty good changeup, but he doesn't throw it very often. So 1-2 to Juan Rivera. 2 out, bases loaded, 2-1 Cubs, 6th inning. 2-2. Victorino opened up the inning and struck out. Mark Ellis hit by a pitch, and that did it for Germano. But then Kemp walked against Cabrera. Epia struck out. Ramirez walked against Cabrera. So they're asking Maine to get the pinch hitter Rivera, batting for Loney. And he tried to hit the outside corner with the slider and missed. And he goes 3-2. A lot of the folks up and at him now. 3-2, wind up the merry-go-round with 2 out. Ellis, Kemp, and Ramirez all ready to go. Luis Cruz on deck. Runners go. Fastball missed. What an inning as the Dodgers get even without hitting the ball. 2 strikeouts, and then you have 3 walks and a hit batter, and so it goes for a ball club that is 22 games back of Cincinnati. For Rivera, he gladly takes the walk and the run batted in. So everybody moves up 90. Ellis brings it in. Kemp is now at third, Ramirez at second, Rivera at first, and here's Luis Cruz. And missed with a high fastball. You know, you can understand Cub pitchers pitching in Wrigley Field, a smaller ballpark, and you're trying to be so delicate and hit the corners, etc. But I'm sure for Dale Schwem, he just can't understand why his pitchers in spacious Dodger Stadium come in, walk 3, and hit a batter. So that's all about the mystery of pitching. Cruz line back to the pitcher Germano and fly to right. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1. So Kemp, Ramirez, and Rivera in the Chicago bullpen. Manny Corpus is warming up. So it's the Cubs who have self-destructed here to allow the game to be tied. 1-1. trying to throw that slider, and it just won't slide. Scott Maine, like a host of others, had Tommy John surgery when he was in college at the University of Miami. Fastball whacked into left field, base hit. In comes Kemp. Ramirez right back of him. Into third goes Rivera on a double by Cruz, and the Dodgers take the lead 4-2. So after 3 walks and a hit batter with 2 out, the Dodgers finally hit the ball. And Cruz drives in 2. And the Dodgers now lead 4-2. And the batter is Ellis. So Cruz 1 for 3 with a huge hit. Now Rivera at third, first base open. Fastball, ball 1. I would think nothing would give a manager a quicker case of ulcers than this kind of an inning. 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, a hit batter, and the Dodgers now lead 4-2. Ellis is the 8th man to come to the plate. 1-1. For the Dodgers, with Ellis at the plate, Jerry Hairston is on deck to bat for Blanton, who could very well pick up the victory. The possible losing pitcher would be Cabrera, not Germano. So Blanton, sitting back after doing a fine job, could be the winner. 1-1. Well, Maine now behind again, 2-1. In the Dodger bullpen, Brandon League begins to warm up. 4-2 Dodgers trying to sweep the Cubs for the first time since 1998. Oh, he's in the dirt. Maine is really struggling. He's a 27-year-old from Florida, signed by Arizona, never made it with them, finally came up 2 years ago with the Cubs, and he's been up and down from Chicago to Iowa each of the last couple of years. That's a strike. AJ singled to center in the 3rd inning, doubled in a run in the 5th. First base open. 3-2 the count. Fouled away. To look ahead for Chicago, Darwin Barney, then the pitcher spot, and David DeJesus. We're in the 6th. Dodgers have come from behind, down 1-0, tied at 1-1, down 2-1, take the lead 4-2. So what an inning. The Dodgers hit the ball once. That's right, once. Because the side struck out, but 3 walks, a hit batter, and that one hit gives them 3 runs, and they lead 4-2. to you by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country. And by Farmer John, taste the local flavor. Luis Cruz, the only Dodger to actually hit the ball in the 6th inning. And remember, the Cub pitchers made 48 pitches in that 1 inning. Cruz hits it, and the Dodgers score 3 times. Juan Rivera, who walked, batting for Loney, stays in the game at first. And Brandon League, coming out of the Dodger bullpen, he'll be pitching to Darwin Barney, who has struck out twice against Joe Blanton. Strike, 0-1 the count. What a nightmare inning for Dale Swam. Dodgers 4 runs on 4 hits. Cubs 2 runs, 5 hits. Brandon League, one of the newcomers from Sacramento, lives in Honolulu. Graduate of St. Louis High School in Honolulu on the island of Oahu. Ball 2. Brandon's high school pitching coach in Honolulu was former Major League pitching Carlos Diaz. 2-1. And ball 3. So the Dodgers, Don Mattingly, hoping it isn't catching. He's got Randy Choate and Javi Guerra up in the pen. Three and 1. And that's going to be slapped into right field. Base hit. Up with it is Ethier. Barney does not take that big turn. And the batter now, Josh Vitters, who will be making his major league debut, coming up as a pinch hitter.
For the Cubs, batting for me, number 5.
So Barney singles to right against Brandon League. And here comes Josh Vitters. So Brett Jackson called up with him. Jackson started to make his debut. And now here is Josh Vitters. Josh Vitters, born in Cyprus and lives down the road in Anaheim. He was a first-round pick 5 years ago. Well put together, 6'2", 200-pounder. Josh only 22. He'd be 23 near the end of August. He went to Cypress High School. Josh Vitters has a younger brother, Christian, who signed with the A's a couple of years ago. He went to school at Fresno State. Want to know to Josh Vitters. And he hits a fly ball to left field. Coming up for it is Victorino. So Vitters a fly ball, 1 down.
David DeJesus.
And David DeJesus coming up. DeJesus walked and scored, struck out, and single to right. Hitting .263 with 2 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Well, let's see as Don Mattingly goes out to talk. He dispatches Rick Honeycutt, and they're going to lift him. So they're going to the Dodger bullpen, and we'll be right back. In the bullpen with Scott Elbert out with a bad elbow. And the reason they bring Choate in is because the Cub lineup bunches 3 consecutive left-hand batters. DeJesus, then Brett Jackson, then Anthony Rizzo. Meanwhile, they're in the top of the 9th inning in Denver. The Giants 8 and the Rockies 2. So Choate following Blanton and League. And Randy trying to get DeJesus. Ball 1. The League came in, gave up the single to Barney. Got Vitters on the fly ball to left. And now he gives the ball to Choate. Randy, the veteran from San Antone, went to Florida State University and was originally selected by the Yankees in the 5th round. Ground foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Randy Vitters inheriting a runner at first. He's been pitching since 1997 as a pro. He'll be 37 years old early in September. Played with the Yankees and the Diamondbacks, the Rays, the Marlins, the Dodgers. 1-1. Big breaking ball. 2-1 to DeJesus. Basically fastball, then that big curveball, plus a slider and a changeup. 2-1. And missed with the fastball. So 3-1 the count. 1 out, a runner at first. And then you have Brett Jackson, the rookie, making his debut today on deck. And he has walked and singled. Three and 1 to DeJesus. And he missed. So the relief pitching today has left a lot to be desired. And the batter, Brett Jackson, grounded sharp to first, walked, single to right. Jackson from Berkeley, California, making his debut. 6'2", 210. When they called him up, he had 15 home runs in Iowa. Barney and DeJesus, the tying runs out there, and that's inside under the elbows. 1 ball and no strikes. So in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Cubs pitchers Germano and then Cabrera and Maine made 48 pitches, struck out the side, walked the house, and the Dodgers scored 3. That's going to be slapped into left field, base hit. Here comes Barney, and they're going to stop him with 1 out. So Jackson, a nice, rather auspicious debut for the young left-hand hitter. He's 2 for 3 with a walk. The Cubs have loaded the bases, and the batter now is Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo has singled to center to drive in the run for the Cubs in the 1st inning. Since then, hit into a force play and flied to right. They'll have a little meeting to figure out how they want to pitch to him. Rizzo is certainly the hope. He is one of a couple of young players with the Cubs they think will eventually turn things around. Rizzo has done very well against right-handers. He has not done well against left-handers. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares here in the clutch. Bases loaded, 1 out. 4-2 favor the Dodgers. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Javi Guerra begins to warm up. So Rizzo up there with a chance to hurt, that's for sure. He was the National League Rookie of the Month for July. So Barney, DeJesus, and Jackson out on the lines. And that's a strike. That is such a casual grip. I'm sure it's the way he's played all his life. But where so many fellas hold that bat quiet or high up in the air, he just kind of has it hanging around. That's another strike. 0-2 to Anthony Rizzo. 1 for 3 today. 0 for 4 last night. So 1 for 7. 1 for 4 the first game. So he's 2 for 11 in the series. And he hits one to right center. Ethier will pick it off. Tagging up and scoring is Barney. Holding at second is DeJesus. Jackson holding at first, and that makes it a little tighter. It's 4-3 in favor of the Dodgers as Rizzo gets a scoring fly ball, run batted in. That run is charged to League, who opened the inning by giving up the base hit. Don Mattingly has changed his uniform again as they go to Guerra. Remember, Mattingly wore 8, then he switched to 12. Now he's double 8. And we'll be right back. Pitch to Alfonso Soriano with runners at first and second, 2 out, and the Dodgers trying to hold on to a 4-3 lead. Soriano has had a bad series. He has done what he does a lot of times. He has struck out 5 times, and with runners in scoring position and 2 out this year, he's hitting only 200. So we'll see what he does with Guerra. You have DeJesus, the tying run at second, Jackson at first, and ball 1 to Soriano. Javi Guerra trying to restore order. League, Choate, and now Guerra. The relievers League and Choate made 17 pitches. Fastball hammered to left field. Back goes Victorino. It's off the fence. 1 run is in. Here comes Jackson. The throw. He's in. Holding at second to Soriano. And the Cubs have taken a 5-4 lead. One of the rare times this year Alfonso Soriano has come up with a big hit for the Cubs. And he got it here. He hit the base of the bullpen gate in left field. Driving in 2. It's a 3-run inning. So the Dodgers scored 3 in the 6th at the expense of the Cub bullpen. And the Cubs come back with 3 at the expense of the Dodger bullpen. 5-4 Chicago. Big hit for Soriano. And a strike to Castro. Starlin Castro 0 for 3. Went out on a fine play by Luis Cruz in the 6th inning. Castro 0 for 3, 0 for 4 for 0 for 7. He's 0 for 11 in the series. 1-1. So Guerra gives up the hit, and Choate gives up 2 runs. So Lee gave up 1. Choate gives up 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball stayed up. Cubs led 1-0. Dodgers tied at 1-1. Cubs led 2-1. Dodgers took the lead 4-2. Cubs have come right back and lead 5-4. 2-1 to Starlin Castro. 2-2. So for Soriano, hitting 200 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he comes up with a body blow to the Dodgers with that double to give the Cubs the lead. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 in, and a runner at second base, and actually 3 runs in the inning. Almost a wild pitch. That was a nice save by Ellis. That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, you talk about the reflexes of a catcher. 3-2. Waiting on deck is Wellington Castillo, who hit the home run in the 6th inning. And that's ball 4. So the bullpen for either team has not been much help. Cabrera and Maine almost let it completely get away in the 6th inning. Now Lee, Choate, and Guerra are struggling here in the 7th. In this 7th inning alone, just the 7th inning, 9 3-ball counts. And the batter now, Castillo, who singled, grounded out, and homered. That's a strike. So Soriano at second, Castro at first, 2 out, and the Cubs with 3 in the bank lead 5-4. Oh, and 2. Pitcher spot is due up for the Dodgers in the bottom of the inning. And fouled away off to the right. Carries well back. By 4 Chicago with 2 out. 0-2 the count on Castillo. Castillo, that big home run back in the 6th inning, that broke a 1-1 tie. One and 2. In the Dodger bullpen, they get Sean Tolleson up. since they'll be hitting for Guerra. It'll be Guerra, Victorino, and Ellis. And remember, Hairston was almost the hitter, so we'll assume that Jerry will be first up in the 7th. And down goes Castillo. 8 men came to the plate. Soriano has the big hit, and at the end of 6.5, 5-4 Chicago. Corpus will come out of the bullpen to see if he can provide something that's really been missing from both bullpens, and that's relief. It's been Germano, Cabrera, Maine, and now Corpus. For the Dodgers, Tony Gwynn will be the hitter. So Gwynn batting for Guerra, opening up matters in the bottom of the 7th inning. Guerra made 13 pitches. And Gwynn checking in. Coming off the bench, Tony's done very well, hitting .420. Corpus coming off Tommy John surgery. He had that just 2 years ago. Originally drafted by the Rockies out of Panama City, Panama. And wrinkles that in for a strike. And the count 0-1. Fastball, slider, and he changes the speed on the slider, so that was just a little wrinkle. He also has a changeup. 0-1. And another strike. Corpus 29, then he'll be 30 in December. 6'3", about 170, out of Panama. Pitched in the first World Baseball Classic back in '06. Ball one. If you're a kid in Panama, you want to be a pitcher, and if for one reason or another you think that maybe someday you'll be a reliever and a closer, you would do what Manny Corpus did. Growing up, he idolized Mariano Rivera, a fellow countryman. Slides that in there, and Gwynn caught looking. That was a great pitch. So Tony batting for Guerra, goes down on strikes. Shane Victorino coming up. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jamie Wright begins to loosen up. We have a final score just to add a little more pressure on the shoulders of the Dodgers. The Giants 8 and the Colorado Rockies 3. Remember, Colorado will be here starting tomorrow night for a 3-game series. The Giants, meanwhile, leave Denver, and they'll go for a 4-game series with St. Louis. 1 ball, no strikes. Victorino takes a strike. Shane Victorino popped a short, fly to center, struck out 0 for 3, hitting .256. Off speed, but he got it low. 5 years ago in October, Manny Corpus became the youngest pitcher to earn 3 saves in a postseason series. He wrapped up each of the Rockies' wins in a sweep of the Phillies in the division series. 2-1. Well, he's been through the mill. Fastball hit in the air to center. Going back on it after starting in and making the catch is Brett Jackson. The Victorino, a long fly ball, and we have 2 down in the 7th. You know, it's the first ever Clippers night at Dodger Stadium. That'll be Wednesday. Purchase the ticket pack, receive a ticket to the Coca-Cola All-You-Can-Eat Pavilion, and the Dodgers and Clippers themed LA cap. Tickets are limited, only available at Dodgers.com/Clippers. Here's Mark Ellis. Popped up twice and then started the Dodger rally in that strange 6th inning when the Dodgers sent 8 men to the plate and only 1 man hit the ball. There were 3 strikeouts. There was a hit batter, 3 walks, and then that 1 base hit by Luis Cruz. Cruz, possessor of that base hit in that inning, was a hero, but short-lived. Corpus with 2 out in the 7th, trying to protect a 5-4 lead. And that's off the plate, ball 3. Ronald Belisario now joined Jamie Wright in the Dodger bullpen. 5-4 Cubs, 2 out, 7th inning. Hovering over like a black cloud for the Dodgers, the fact that Giants have already won. 3-0 to Ellis. And of course, Matt Kemp on deck. And Kemp will be coming up on ball 4. For Manny Corpus, who has been around certainly quite a while, he has faced Matt Kemp 9 times. Matt is 2 for 9 against him. That would be a .222 batting average. So Matt overall 348, 16 home runs, 41 ribbies. Matt struck out in the 1st inning, grounded to short in the 4th, walked in that bizarre 6th inning. It's been Germano, Cabrera, Maine, and Corpus. Mark Ellis 5 for 5 in stolen bases. The left-hander who worked in last night's game, James Russell, he's up now in the Cub bullpen. Little slider in for a strike. 0-1. Fastball sliced into right field. It'll drop. On his way to third is Ellis. And the Dodgers have first and third, 2 out. And Andre Ethier coming up. So they had James Russell in the pen, and I'm sure Dale was thinking of just this spot. Yep, here he comes. So Ethier, who has certainly had his share of problems against left-hand pitching, will be coming up against one, I would certainly think. No other reason for Russell to be throwing. Dale has reached the mound, still talking to his pitcher. And that will be that. So adios for Manny Corpus, and we'll be right back. With 100% Black Angus beef. Dodgers down 5-4, have a shot again at coming back. They have first and third with 2 out. James Russell, whom we saw pitch briefly last night, has been brought in. Last night he was brought in to face Andre Ethier, who hit into a force play. And today he's trying to get Ethier for the final out of the 7th inning. Andre, with runners in scoring position, and he has one at third and 2 out, is hitting .342. However, Andre against left-hand pitching is hitting only .219. So let's see what develops here. First and third, 2 out. Cubs trying to hold on to a 5-4 lead. And first pitch in for a strike, and they count 0-1. With Russell with a record of 5-0, he has 1 wild pitch. Russell from Cincinnati, Ohio, but moved to Colleyville, Texas, and went to the University of Texas. He's the son of a former All-Star closer, Jeff Russell. Ground foul So Ethier now finds himself in a jam. No balls and 2 strikes. His father, Jeff Russell, and maybe that's the story as to why he went from Cincinnati to Colleyville, Texas. His dad pitched 10 years with Texas. His father had 186 career saves. They'll chip off the old block with a fastball, curve, and change. 0-2 to Ethier. In the dirt, nice block by Castillo. Of course, one of the things for Russell to think about is the presence of Matt Kemp at first. Trying to concentrate on Ethier with 2 outs. 1-2 the count. Russell 6'4", 210. And we'll pay Matt a visit. Russell, 26 years old. Drafted 5 years ago in the 14th round. Got up to the Cubs 2 years ago. 1-2 to Andre Ethier. First and third, 2 out. And that's slapped foul. Though Andre's still there. Andre watching Ellis, short lead at third. Kemp taking his lead at first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Slow curveball. 2-2. So Russell, facing Ethier last night, got him to hit into a force play. Now they ask him to do something like that now. Oh, deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 5-4 Chicago. Three and 2. So Cabrera, Maine, Corpus, they all walk hitters. So did Choate. So did Guerra. And now Russell on an edge. 3-2 with the right hand hitter. Hanley Ramirez on deck. Big pitch. Kemp ready to go. And a whack into right center, and that's heading towards open spaces. Off the wall. Ellis scores. Here comes Kemp to beat the relay, and the Dodgers have turned it around and lead 6-5. Andre Ethier doubles in 2 big ones. One thing today, there is no relief. And it's 6-5. Now Hanley Ramirez with Juan Rivera hitting back of him. So Russell gives up the hit. Corpus gives up 2 runs. They will walk Ramirez intentionally and try to get out of it against Rivera. So the bullpens might be open for business, but they'll break you. Dodger bullpen gave up 3. Cub bullpen has given up 4. And the Dodgers lead 6-5. So Juan Rivera, who came up batting for Loney and walked to push over a run in the 6th inning, now comes up with runners at first and second, 2 out in the 7th. And the Dodgers leading 6-5. Boy, this has really been a seesaw game. 1-0 Cubs, then 1-1, 2-1 Cubs, then 4-2 Dodgers, 5-4 Cubs, now 6-5 Dodgers. Fastball popped up right side, Anthony Rizzo, and that will be that. However, the Dodgers come up with a couple of walks, a single and a double, and turn it around to lead 6-5. In right center, turns the game around yet again, and the Dodgers lead 6-5 as we go to the 8th inning. Ronald Belisario will become the 5th Dodgers pitcher. It's been Blanton, League, Choate, Guerra, and now Belisario. So 1 minute you're pretty well sure who's going to be the losing pitcher, but that only lasts for a minute. Right now, Corpus could be the loser and Guerra the winner, but we have a long way to go. Belisario getting ready to pitch to Luis Valbuena. Then we'll have Darwin Barney and then the pitcher spot. Valbuena's the fellow who sees a lot of pitches. Let's see about this at bat. Strike. He had a 10-pitch walk in the 2nd inning. Went 3-2 in the 4th inning before flying to right. 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Luis Valbuena, we mentioned it earlier. He's the most impressive 195 hitter we've seen in a while because of the fact he gets into the count so deeply. There's ball 2. He has seen 45 pitches in 6 times to the plate in the last 2 games. And he's already seen 3 more pitches in this at bat. Remarkable. There's ball 3. He's hitting 195. Valbuena 0 for 2. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. They pitch Valbuena like he's Willie Mays. So he draws the walk. Tying runs aboard, nobody out, and Darwin Barney coming up. Darwin Barney struck out twice, then singled to right field and scored a run. Dodgers had a 3-run 6th. The Cubs came right back with a 3-run 7th. Dodgers then came back with a 2-run bottom of the 7th. The throw is into center field. Barney does not know, and into center it goes. Valbuena had no idea. The Dodgers faked as if the ball was right around the bag. So the ground ball up the middle, and No play in either spot. So now the Cubs have 2 on and nobody out. And they'll go to the bench for another hitter. Brian LaHare, the left-hand hitting outfielder, played right field in the series. LaHare opened up in the first game, was 1 for 3, had a double. And ball 1. Two on, nobody out. Ball hit back to the box. And instead of a possible double play, the Cubs have 2 on, nobody out. Fouled away, 1-1. Brian LaHare hitting .267 with 14 home runs, 31 runs batted in. LaHare out of Worcester, Massachusetts. Fouled away. He's hitting .306 against right-hand batters. Went to junior college in St. Petersburg and was originally drafted by the Mariners. And he takes a good look and strikes out. So LaHare comes up with all that power and strikes out looking. He thought it was inside and it got the inside corner. So the runners hold, first and second, 1 away. De Jesus coming up. David has walked and struck out, singled and walked again, and scored twice. One ball and no strikes. And that slapped to left field. Victorino started in, makes the catch. The runners have to scamper back. 2 down. And Brett Jackson coming up.
Coming to the plate, number 7, Brett Jackson.
So with 2 on and 2 out, the batter now is the rookie, Brett Jackson, making his debut. He's had a good debut, grounded out hard, walked, single to right, single to left, and this time fouls away. 0-1 to count. So Valbuena walked. Barney hit the comebacker, and Belisario wound up throwing it into center field. They have not put an error up on the scoreboard, and we've been kind of quiet trying to figure out why not. They might just have overlooked it, but we want to double check. 0-1 to Brett Jackson. 0-2. Tough spot for a rookie making his big league debut. 8th inning, ball game on the line. The boy from Berkeley, Brett Jackson. Got him. Fastball inside corner. So LaHare and Jackson caught looking. Belisario walks off leading 2. And at the end of 7.5, 6-5 Dodgers. day, seeing a wild ball game. 42,495. No relief from the heat and no relief period in this game. So we will see now what happens after Belisario got in a little trouble and wound up striking out 2. Sean Camp will come out and become the 6th pitcher coming out of the Cub bullpen. Sean Camp is from Fairfax, Virginia. He went to George Mason University and was originally drafted by the Padres. He bounced around in the minor leagues, started at Idaho Falls, and then stopped at such outposts as Clinton, Rancho Cucamonga, Mobile, Portland, Altoona, Nashville, and here he is. One of the nice things that Sean Camp does, he contributes to children with special needs. They work with Down syndrome children. He'll be pitching to Luis Cruz. Ball 1. Cruz had a big hit. He had lined back to the box, flied to right, and then hit the big shot in the 6th inning to drive in 2 and give the Dodgers a temporary lead, only to relinquish that and then having to come back to lead 6-5. Sean Camp, 6'1", 200-pounder, with all of his travelings. He gives a hopper that's into left center field. So there really hasn't been much relief today as Cruz comes up with his 2nd hit. And the crowd emphasizing that name, Cruz. So Camp gives up a hit. Dodgers 6 runs, 7 hits. A.J. Ellis has 2 hits, a single and a double. His double drove in a run. Dodger RBIs. Ethier has 2. Rivera has 1 on a walk. Cruz has 2. Ellis has 1. Kind of a guy Sean Camp is. Well, on Christmas Eve one year, he and his wife spent the evening with children in the oncology unit at Fairfield Hospital in Virginia. The bunt is down. The bunt is on the chalk. It's foul. 0-1. So back to first goes Cruz. 6-5. Wild game. Dodgers trying to hold on. Jerry Hairston out on deck. For the Dodgers here in the 8th inning, Cruz opens with a single, which marks the first time today they've been able to get a leadoff man on base. Despite that, they've still scored 6. 2 against Germano, 2 against Cabrera, 2 against Corpus. Oh, and 1. There goes the runner. The pitch is low, juggled, held on to a no throw by Castillo. So Cruz winds up with a stolen base. So Wellington Cruz backhands and then couldn't make the play. It might have been caught up a little bit in the webbing of the Met. Though Ellis, who was around to bunt, that in itself was pretty rare. Of course, when you hit 8th in the lineup and the pitcher follows, you're not going to be asked to bunt much anyway. He had bunted, sacrificed twice. So Sean Camp, basically a fastball and a slider. And he goes 3-1. The fact the Dodgers have waited until the 8th inning to get a leadoff man on base makes you a little surprised to realize they not only have scored 6 runs in the game, they've scored all 6 with 2 out, which is a tough way to go. 3-1 the count to A.J. Ellis. 3-2. That got a little bit of Castillo behind the plate, right in the mask. So A.J. back up. 3-2. Runner at second. Nobody out. Germano, Cabrera, Maine, Corpus, Russell, and Camp. Check swing. He's going to strike out. So Ellis goes 2 for 4, but what galls him is not the strikeout as much as the failure to advance Cruz, and he had a lot of chances first to try and bunt him over. So now the batter will be Jerry Hairston. Hairston batting for Belisario.
Attention please for the Dodgers, pinch hitting number 6, Jerry Hairston Jr.
Kenley Jansen throwing in the Dodger bullpen. Remember, the Giants won their ball game. They breezed against the Rockies, and the Dodgers hope that they'll breeze when the Rockies come here tomorrow night. Show you what kind of relief Chicago has gotten today. The relievers have faced 15 batters, and they've gone to a 3-ball count on 10 of them. So they have certainly not been aggressive in challenging hitters, and we'll see what Camp does now with Jerry Hairston. 0-1. Hairston batting .279, 4 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Sean Camp with 1 out in the 8th inning. When the Cubs come up in the 9th, they will have Rizzo, Soriano, and Castro, the heart of their lineup. Oh, 0-1. Slider way off the plate. Another slider. This one is popped up. Anthony Rizzo might be looking for help, and he's going to get it. Darwin Barney is there. So that's a big out. Again, failing to advance Cruz. And with 2 down, they'll leave it up to Victorino. Say, you hitting the road, take the Dodgers with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. See every Dodger out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Victorino is 0 for 4. Popped to short, twice he flied to center and struck out. Shane hitting .256 as the Dodgers try to get an extra run to take into the 9th inning. Cruz at second base. That's over for a strike. With a left-hand hitter, that allows Starlin Castro to move way over, not only to fill up the middle, but also to shadow the runner Cruz. 0-1 to Victorino. Oh, and 2. Another slider. Sean wants a new ball. Camp has been around. Been a pro. Well, he was signed in 1997. He's going to be 37 middle of November. 9 years in the big leagues, but his first in the National League. Sean Camp. Pop fly down the line, curling foul, and will drop in the stands. In pursuit, Castro and Soriano. No balls and 2 strikes the count to Shane Victorino. So Sean pitching to Shane. Chris Capuano tomorrow night against the Colorado Rockies. Oh and 2. 1 and 2. Hitting back of Victorino, Mark Ellis. Ellis 0 for 2, but he was hit by a pitch and scored, walked and scored. One and 2. Look out. Did it get him? The plate umpire did not indicate that it got him. Dale Scott. He's right on top of the plate. That was right at his right hip. He got out of the way of it, though he is still up there. No graze, no foul. 2 and 2. Good call by the umpire. Sean pitched into Shane. It just missed his shirt. He pops that up, and it will be caught for the last out. Yeah, try that. Sean, Shane, and shirt. Anyway, the Dodgers come up empty in the 8th, and we go to the 9th. 6-5 Dodgers. Order, and following the footsteps, Belisario struck out 2 in the 8th. So it's been Blanton, League, Choate, Guerra, Belisario, and now Kenley. For Jansen with a record of 4-3, but a fine ERA of 1.8. His numbers: 18 walks, 76 strikeouts. The Cubs, plagued by the thought how inefficient they have been in one-run games on the road. Cubs are 2-12 in one-run games. So they're faced with that right now. And the heart of the order: Anthony Rizzo, Alfonso Soriano, and then Starlin Castro. Rizzo singled, hit into a force play, fly to right, and had a sacrifice fly in the seventh inning. The left-hand hitter with the casual look, but anything casual, the way he holds the bat looks casual, but he's hitting .305, 8 home runs, 22 runs batted in. And a towering fly ball to right field. Ethier back to the track at the gate. It is gone. Would you believe that? We have a 6-6 tie. Anthony Rizzo, anything but casual when he swings the bat. And the young man has 9 home runs, 23 runs batted in, and the Cubs have come back to tie it up. For Kenley Jansen, hit by lightning here. That would be the 5th home run that he's allowed. Ethier trying to be a member of the Cub bullpen, but he ran out of gate. The Rizzo ties it up in the 9th inning. Soriano had hit into a double play, struck out, flied to right. He was hitting .200 with 2 out and runners in scoring position. That was the situation he found in the 7th inning, and he promptly doubled in 2 runs. 0-1. And he hits a high fly ball, might be playable. Kemp is going to go to the track and pick it off. So a long out on the heels of the home run. So 1 out in the 9th. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th, they'll have Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier. And I'll tell you one thing, you get the idea. The Dodgers have not swept the Cubs here at Dodger Stadium since 1998. And if they're going to do it today, boy, it's not easy. Here's Castro. Starlin Castro has flied to right, struck out. Cruz made a good play to get him. And then last time up, Castro walked. Hitting .277. He has 11 home runs, and he's still looking for a hit in the series. 0 for 11. 1 ball and 1 strike. So it was 1-0 Cubs, then 1-1. Then it was 2-1 Cubs. Then it was 4-2 Dodgers. Then it was 5-4 Cubs. Then it was 6-5 Dodgers. And now it's 6-6. Two and 1 the count to Starlin Castro. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, is on deck. Lifted foul off to the right, out of play. Paid attendance, and they have seen themselves quite a Sunday afternoon ball game. 42,495. Among other things, they have seen 6 pitchers, 11 runs, 16 hits. 2 home runs for the Cubs, none for the Dodgers. 2-2. Check swing foul. Carlos Marmol down in the pen warming up for the bottom of the 9th inning. Good fastball to blow Castro down. Second time that he is struck out today. And the batter now, Wellington Castillo. He singled to center, grounded to third, homered, and struck out. To repeat, when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th, Ellis, Kemp, Ethier. Actually, when we talk about the Cubs' problems in one-run games on the road, Dodgers really haven't done very well at home in one-run games. Not when you realize they're fighting for first place, and they're only 12 and 11 one-run games at home. 1 ball and no strikes. One and one. The Cubs are 22 games under 500 on the road. They've done okay at home, 3 games above. In the friendly confines, as Ernie Banks always referred to Wrigley. Two 2-0 to Castillo. And he lifts one in the air down the left field line. Victorino on the track makes the catch. 2 balls that just died en route. The ball hit by Soriano and the ball hit by Castillo. But the one that didn't tie, hit by Rizzo, makes it a 6-6 tie. Nine hits, 2 of them home runs. They also had a double by Soriano. The Dodgers have a double by Andre Ethier, a double by A.J. Ellis. And now in the bottom of the 9th inning, they will have Mark Ellis, followed by Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier. The Cub relievers have been pretty shaky, considering the fact they have faced 15 batters and they've gone to a 3-ball count on 10 of them. Sean Kemp, in pitching the 8th inning, gave up a single to Cruz, who then stole second base. And the Dodgers trying to get an extra run. Little did they know they would really need it, but they couldn't come up with it. They left Cruz at second base. And then Rizzo hits the home run, and they are forced to come up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mark Ellis popped up twice, hit by a pitch, walked, and scored twice. And here we go in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ball 1. Though we will see if Camp, who struck out 1 in the 8th inning, will be like all the other hitters and go to a 3-ball count. That's a strike. 1-1. And ball 2. Matt Kemp waiting on deck. Ground ball wide at third. Castro from the grass, and the throw is in time. Wow! What a play by Starlin Castro. racing to his right, fielding the ball on the grass, and winds up throwing a dart. And he's got a big first baseman. Anthony Rizzo did a good toe dance, and they get Mark Ellis. Huge play by Starlin Castro. Such a good play. Valbuena comes over to talk to him, congratulate him. Now Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp struck out, grounded to short, walked and scored, singled and scored. Slider, ball one. You look at the way they set up the left side of the infield. Valbuena is going steady with the foul line. Castro way over in the hole. And with Barney not quite up the middle, a huge gap in the Cub infield. The outfield very deep, almost straight away. Check. They're going to look. No swing. So 3-0, and of course I think everybody in the ballpark knows there is certainly nothing automatic for Matt Kemp to take 3-0. And low. So 1 out. Kemp at first. Andre Ethier, who had a big hit when he doubled in a couple in the 7th inning. Andre climbing the bullpen gate in right field, still couldn't catch the home run by Rizzo. He sure gave it a try. I'll always remember when Henry Aaron hit his great home run to break Babe Ruth's mark in Atlanta. And Bill Buckner was playing left field, and he climbed the wall of the bullpen trying to catch. And after the game, George Plimpton said, "Is he good at that sort of thing?" And I said, "No, George, nobody is." Well, Ethier tried. Ball one. Andre had lined out to right, flied to right, struck out, then had the big double. So 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. They are going to really have to keep an eye on Matt Kemp. Kemp has not done running ever since he hurt his leg, but he's playing every day, and you have to guess he's ready to run. One ball and no strikes. They count to Ethier. 1 out, bottom of the 9th, 6-6 tie. Kemp looking over his left shoulder at Matt Kemp. Hard ground ball into right field. Because DeJesus was way over, Matt Kemp goes all the way to third. And the Dodgers have first and third, 1 out, 9th inning in a tied-up game.
Shortstop number 13, Ramirez.
So Matt Kemp, the winning run at third. Sean Kemp, who got himself into trouble like all of the other relievers by walking Matt Kemp. And now Kemp at third could beat him. Dale Swam on his way out to the mound. Hanley Ramirez is 0 for 2, but he has walked twice. Then you have Rivera hitting after Hanley. 1 out, 9th inning, 6-6. Ramirez 0 for 2, 2 walks, and scored a run. Dale Swim has given his instructions what they're going to do. And in a minute we'll find out. 6 runs, 9 hits for the Cubs. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. Dodgers trying to remain a half a game back of the Giants, who won easily in Colorado. Infield has to play up. A giant hole on the right side because they have Rizzo holding the runner Ethier at first. Line drive, base hit. Dodgers win it 7-6. Hanley Ramirez being pursued by Matt Kemp, but he's finally caught as he has himself a walk-off base hit. How sweet that is for him to do it here at Dodger Stadium. So the Dodgers 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. The Cubs 6 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Kenley Jansen winds up being the winner. Sean Kemp winds up being the loser. And the Dodgers wind up sweeping the Cubs at Dodger Stadium for the first time since 1998. And now the Cubs leave. The Colorado Rockies come in. And the Dodgers are trying to do what they must do. Beat the teams that are struggling. They have beaten the Cubs 3 straight. They now have to take on Colorado and be successful. Then they'll go on the road and they have to play well and beat Miami. Because after those 9 games are done, they then have 4 in Pittsburgh and 3 in Atlanta. So the job is far from done. Hanley Ramirez getting his only hit of the day. Goes 1 for 3. Tried to avoid Kemp, and he was caught from behind by Ethier. And the Dodgers do it and win it 7-6. Tomorrow night, Chris Capuano, who stayed in his spot in the rotation, he'll open up against Colorado. And then game 2 will be